Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sam here, United People's TV, with the live morning show. I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, 9:30, bringing you all the latest Manchester United news and talking points. And today, as you can see from the title, as you can see from down there, I'm talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm talking about Erik ten Hag. I'm talking about Ajax's 4-0 win against Borussia Dortmund last night, and why, for me, that game in itself really highlighted why Manchester United fans, why a lot of you are losing faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You all know me on United People's TV and how much I've supported and how much I love Solskjaer and how much I want him to be a success. But just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday in his press conference ahead of the game, he was next to Rashford. And the first thing he said was, I'm not going to ignore the elephant in the room. And he spoke about his comments on Rashford focusing on football. I now am not going to ignore the elephant in the room and not talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his deficiencies, his flaws. And people like try and accuse me of this concept of Ole sexuals, Ole inners. Don't try and divide people as much as that. You can try if you want, people, but you're in the wrong place for it. I'm here for like actual conversation, actual debate. And what I'm doing here in this video, I'm going to point out exactly why that 4-0 win for Ajax against Dortmund is exactly why so many Manchester United fans are losing faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And tonight is such an important game. Such an important game. My word, that game against Atalanta, every game now is a cup final for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and for Manchester United after the start to the season that we've had. We're on a downward slope. The only way to stop that is results and performances as well. I can see so many of you in the comments. Michael watching from Sydney. Good morning. Lookman watching on YouTube. Anuj, Takeoff. I can see you. Ant, you're there. Craig, plenty of mods. Josh, you're there. Chris, Meet, Sashi, plenty of members, plenty of mods. Good morning to all of you. Make sure you please drop a like on the video. But let's talk about it. I did a tweet was it last night? Yeah, I did a tweet last night. Let me put it up for you. I should have pulled it up before the stream, but I forgot to. But yeah, did anybody watch that game last night? Ajax against Dortmund. Let me know if you did in the comments, but let me know what you thought about it. It was extremely, extremely impressive. Bear in mind, this is a Dortmund team that is not shit. Absolutely not shit. And Ajax tore them apart. It wasn't a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. It was a 4-0 demolition job. And it could have been more. It really, really could have been more. We put up this tweet I did last night. This is sort of an opinion that I said last night on Ten Hag. I said, look, you have to admit how incredible a job Erik ten Hag has done at Ajax. 4-0 winners tonight against Dortmund. Ajax has scored 11 goals in 3 Champions League games so far this season. 30-plus goals in the league, and they've only conceded 3 goals overall. Now, watching that shows the gap between Manchester United and the elite. Now, what I want to say here, this isn't going to be a stream where I'm just sitting here talking about the football and the style that Erik ten Hag is doing. I'm talking about the overarching concepts and the overarching reasons why people and fans are starting to lose faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because a lot of them were on show last night. I'll explain exactly why now. So as I said, that game last night, 4-0 against Dortmund, it really was impressive. If you're looking at the team, you're looking at, Haaland was playing, Marco Reus was playing, Jude Bellingham was playing, Axel Witsel was playing, Mats Hummels was playing. It wasn't exactly a shit Dortmund team by any stretch of the imagination. But this is the thing, right? This is why I'm saying that is so impressive from Ajax last night, and why for so many United fans, it symbolized exactly the frustrations that so many of us really have. Let's go over here. Let's look at the team. We can see here we've got Berghaus, we've got Anthony, we've got Tadic, we've got Haller, you've got Alvarez, you've got Gravenberch. Let's rewind. Ajax have lost a lot of players in the last few years. Obviously, in 2019, they got to the Champions League semi-final underneath Erik ten Hag, of course. But look at what's happened since then. Let's scroll back, because so much is said about the quality of Manchester United's starting 11, the quality of Manchester United's squad, the lack of having a central defensive midfielder is obviously a big problem at the club. But you can't associate all of our problems just with that. And this, for me, is why I'm pointing out this situation. Ten Hag in 2018-19 had such an incredible squad. He had De Jong, you had De Ligt, you had Van der Beek, he had. It was a fantastic team and a fantastic squad. But the following summer, De Jong joined Barcelona. De Ligt joined Juventus. Dolberg left for Nice. I didn't know Nice. The year after, Ziyech left for Chelsea. Van der Beek left for United. Dest left for Barcelona. Not really that much in terms of departures the year after, but Erik ten Hag has lost so many of his key players from 2018-19. But what you can say now by watching that team last night against Dortmund is he hasn't lost anything, really. Because I don't think that I would hesitate to say that Ajax might be one of the best run clubs in the world. In the world. Their ability to continuously rebuild is almost unrivaled. It's in their academy and the system that they've got and the foundations they've built their club on mean that they can cope with these things. And that's why I'm saying this Erik ten Hag thing has impressed me so much. Because they've lost all those players, yet 3 years later, they're looking as strong as ever under the same manager, and that's because of the continuation of the style and the philosophy that isn't dependent on individuals. Hell, I'm sure the entire team could be sold, and they could bring in a whole new team, and they would still play the similar style of football. And that, for me, highlights exactly where the frustrations lie with Solskjaer, because it shows the gaps the huge gap that United have between where we are now and the elite at the very, very top. And Ten Hag has been at the helm of it. And for United fans, what we all wanted to see the whole way through was this was a style coming into play. Manchester United, if we're looking at style over history, under Fergie, we played a clinical 4-4-2 for the majority of his successful times at United. No, obviously, I'm not saying that he didn't adapt, because he certainly did adapt, but 4-4-2 was our king. Two wingers, whether it's Giggs and Beckham, Kanchelskis and Ronaldo, whoever you want it to be. We played with two wide wingers. We played with two central midfielders, two battling midfielders, whether it's Butt and Keane or Scholes or Carrick or anybody else you want to drop inside there. Brian Robson obviously came through. Well, not really Fergie's time, but play with two strikers up front, whether that's Colin York or Sheringham or Solskjaer or Van Nistelrooy or Rooney or bloody Mark Hughes or anybody you want to throw in there. Man United played 4-4-2. It was always the style that Man United had under Fergie. Really nice wing play. The fullbacks didn't overlap massively, but they certainly added to the attack. So you knew what United were doing. If we were to sell players, we would buy players who fit that style, and then we would move forward with it. Fast forward, and Fergie adapted. Fergie didn't just play that 4-4-2. He modernized with the game. And that's when Carlos Queiroz came in, and Manchester United switched to a 4-3-3, a more continental style of football. And that, for me, is when we played our best football under Fergie. 2007 to 2009, it will still stand as one of the best teams that there's ever been, and certainly the best football I've ever watched. Like the speed of it, the pressing that came from the front with Rooney and Tevez, and how Manchester United played as a complete unit. It was glorious. It was the best football I've seen. Now, with Manchester United now, I still don't... I mean, what is the style of... Because there are certain games where, like, take, I don't know, PSG away, for example. In individual games, Manchester United do have a very clear style. And it comes against the bigger opposition where sort of we're up against the wall, backs against the wall, and Manchester United play with a real press. We do play with intensity. We try to hit fast. We go through the transitions quickly. We try to minimize possession in midfield, whether that's on purpose or not. I don't know about that. But in certain games, we do have a style. But then from one game to another, it's Jekyll and Hyde. One style, a week later, something completely different. And that's exactly that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying last night was so impressive from Ajax. So impressive from Ajax, and why Manchester United are struggling under Solskjaer, and why so many of you are losing your faith in Solskjaer. Can you let me know what you think about that in the comments below? I'll try and read a few of your comments out. Fire in super chats like Anuj here. Always supports the channel, as you can see. It's all getting put back into it. Anuj, morning, Sam. Can't wait for the arms today. I'm excited. Big game, need 3 points. Also, never wear United jersey on match day. It's a curse. We always lose. Well, it's not a jersey. This is a jacket, so I'm not cursing it. Let's have a look at what you're saying in the comment. Ten Hag is the same. He used 4 different formations in his last 4 games. Says Erik. So it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying about why I was impressed by that performance last night and why I've been impressed with not Barcelona, with Ajax this season, because we're looking at the Champions League group. They played 3. They've scored 11 with 1 goal conceded, won 3 out of 3. We look at the Eredivisie. They've played 9, won 7, drawn 1, lost 1, scored 32 goals with 2 goals against. That's an insane record. It's the ability to rebuild. It's the ability to keep focus on a pure philosophy and a pure style. I'll be honest. I think Ten Hag is 99% guaranteed to be Barcelona's next manager. I'd be surprised if he went anywhere else. The path between Ajax and Barcelona is well walked. Johan Cruyff is a manager who Ten Hag has sort of built inspiration from. I'd be very surprised if Ten Hag went anywhere else next apart from Barcelona. So this isn't me saying, let's go after Ten Hag, let's get him in. Although, obviously, you can see where he fits in. I think he does play a 4-2-3-1 quite a lot as well. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm drawing the parallels between how Ajax have managed to lose so many of their key players from that 2018-19 team, yet 2-3 years later be doing so well under the same manager. It's because of that continuation of the philosophy, the thing that gets drilled into the players. And yeah, I'm just extremely impressed by it. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you this morning to see what you wanted to do. Because as I said before, and I reiterate again, I shouldn't have to, I don't do this often, but I'll tell you what, in this last week or so, I've definitely been more spiky. I think spiky is being fair. I felt like I've had to defend myself because there's so much toxicity, and it's not the toxicity, it's the level of abuse that people are dealing towards Solskjaer. I understand if you don't want him as a manager, but don't be a fucking dick just don't know. I've said, as I've said before, don't be a dick. Seriously. And there is a subtle difference between disagreeing and not wanting someone in your club and literally holding a gun to his head until he leaves. And that's what so many of you are sort of doing that I disagree with, and I will firmly disagree with. I'm not going to go as far as Gary Neville and say that I won't criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because, mate, look at the title of the goddamn video. I'm talking about the positives and the reasons why United fans are losing faith, because I am losing faith. I'm doing it in public, right? It's a bit different. I wouldn't cry if he went for Ten Hag. And Van der Sar says, and welcome aboard to the mod gang. Hey, look, there's no chance of that happening. Why would Ajax let both of them go? Ajax, I believe Ten Hag will leave at the end of the season. I personally think he will go to Barcelona. If it just it makes too much sense because they're desperate for a new lease of life. And Ten Hag, as I said, that path is well walked. So for me, I think that's obvious. And I don't think Van der Sar is going to be leaving anytime soon. He's obviously, Amsterdam is just as much, if not more, part of his blood than Manchester United in, as much as we'd all love that to be. Let me go down to the comments here and see what you're saying. Why is Donny not getting a chance? Why is Sancho always on the left, says Dave. There are 2 questions I honestly do not know the answer to. And all we can do is speculate because, I don't know, I get a bit confused by it, if I'm being completely honest. But as I said, fire in your questions about Ten Hag. I'm obviously going to be doing some content around. I'm not here to blindly support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm not going to ignore the elephant in the room and ignore the problems that we've got at the club. I've looked at them separately. I've looked at the problems that we've had. I've tried to say reasons and as to why we've got those problems. I've tried to point out solutions as to how Solskjaer could potentially fix those problems. And one of those was playing Pogba and Matic in midfield. So I don't fucking know anything I'm talking about, apparently, because that was probably one of the worst midfield performances we've had. And if there's one guarantee tonight, it's that. Fred and McTominay are probably going to start in midfield. Stefan, nice to see you, buddy. You're saying Van der Sar would be absolutely sensational. He would be. Van der Sar, and I've said this all along, and I maintain this. There's an article that came out on The Athletic today, looking into Ed Woodward and him leaving the club and all the situation around that, which I will read in a bit more detail, and we can speak about that another day, not for today. It's just focusing on the game against Atalanta tonight. Completely forgot what I was going to say. I'm joking. It's about Van der Sar and the fact that, yeah, Van der Sar is the person that works between managers and keeps the Ajax philosophy in place. And that's what John Murtough will do, whoever comes in for Solskjaer, whether that's in a few weeks' time after a series of more defeats, whether that's at the end of the season. I don't know that point, but that is exactly why we brought John Murtough in, so that the transition between managers isn't as drastic. Because what we've had from Moyes, from Fergie to Moyes to Van Gaal to Mourinho, and Mourinho to Solskjaer has been just a huge U-turn, a huge handbrake on the club. Everything changed. The philosophy's out the window. Instead of Manchester United being a club that has a philosophy that's so imprinted in it that a manager has to come in and play to that philosophy, Manchester United were effectively a blank canvas. We were a blank canvas, maybe not for Moyes. Moyes came and tried to replicate Fergie, and that was just impossible. But Van Gaal came into a blank canvas of Manchester United, and we said, what do you want to do with our club? You can do what you want. Mourinho came in. We said, do what you want, Jose. We're just here to support you with the signings for the first 2 seasons, then we're going to fuck you off. And when Solskjaer came in, he's the first person who came into the club and looked at what Manchester United meant. And that's why he spoke in so many cliches at the start. He spoke about DNA of the club, spoke about the culture, and so many people laughed at him for it. But we needed that. We needed that. In the same way that right now, Newcastle probably need a manager to come in for the next year or two and steer them through this transitional period into a position where maybe they can get someone in and go to the top level. Manchester United needed that post-Mourinho to sort of re-find ourselves. I thought Manchester United, we actually lost our identity as a football club. We didn't know what we were anymore. We'd gone from being perennial champions to just mid-table fodder. Under Van Gaal and Mourinho, Mourinho finished second. I don't care that Mourinho finished second with 81 points. Mourinho just tore everything up at Manchester United and tried to do it his way, and it did not work. But what Murtough is supposed to be doing now is no matter what happens next after Solskjaer, there is a continuation of the good work that has happened behind the scenes. And I'm clearly going to have to do a video on this because so many people don't seem to be able to see it. Because now that there's a wildfire going on with the results on the pitch, no one seems to really want to talk about, as I said, and I'd stand by the good and the great work that Solskjaer has done since taking over as manager to get our club back into this position that we are currently in. Solskjaer's been at the top of that. But whoever comes next, as I said, Murtough should be the person who bridges that gap. That's what Van der Sar does at Ajax. And so many of you want, of course I want Van der Sar. It'll be fantastic. But I don't personally think that Van der Sar would leave Ajax. And why would he? He's in a very stable club, very happy, family there. I don't really see a reason for it. And as I said, I personally think that Ten Hag will be going to Barca. Comment there from TARDIS official YouTube channel. How you doing, buddy? What do you think of Ole starting his interview with "Let's get the elephant out of the room" and Marcus Rashford? Is this a club trying to show players are behind the manager? No, I think that's in the same way that I've been a bit spiky this week. Maybe I would say that's Solskjaer being spiky. That's Solskjaer coming out fighting and saying, you know what? You lot have been reporting some shit this week. Now, he didn't say it in that way because that's not the Solskjaer style, but in his head, that's basically what he was saying. He was saying, you lot have been chatting shit this week. Let me just clear this. Let me just get rid of it. And it's sort of, as I said, it sort of inspired me. You can't ignore the elephant in the room. I can't watch that game against Ajax last night and just be swooning over what I'm seeing and then not speak about it in the comments in the morning with you. I think that would be wrong. I'm not someone you know me by now. And if you don't know me, welcome aboard to United People's TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, get involved. As you can see, look, Old Trafford M16. Whew. Look at that. Fergie's up there, isn't he? What do you reckon about the plaque? The plaque's finally come out. Boop, boop, boop. I've got a logo that's going to come and go there as well. The PO box is open. Should I get the PO box address? No, I can't get it. I put the letter away. Open the PO box. I'm going to get the address and keep it on screen. It's your chance to sort of send it into me. Mods, if you've got the PO box address, fire it into the comments now. That'll really help. But what do you think? I'm going to head down to the comments here and read a few of your comments out. As I said, always please fire in your super chats because it does support the channel. Danish saying Gary Neville will be satisfied with Ole if he wins the Europa League. Will I be satisfied? Absolutely not. Manchester United did not sign Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, and Cristiano Ronaldo to win a tournament where we got to the final last year. Obviously, if we had those names, we probably wouldn't have lost that final last year. But my ambitions are certainly higher than the Europa League. Ollie, Abby, you're saying Ollie's ego prevented him from accepting maybe he's made mistakes and fixing them. That is something I wholeheartedly agree with, because people go, people say that Solskjaer is a really nice guy, and I say that as well because he is. He's got that sort of that likable front. Solskjaer's got an ego, man. Everybody who is towards the top level of sports or any industry at all, you have to have an ego to succeed in that role. Because if you don't have an ego, then let's go. Justin saying one plant in the background will work just fine. I've been thinking that. Not sure I can return the other one though, but I'm thinking about it. I might get a table there instead. There you go. That's the comment there from Anuj. Big up. So this, oh no, that's the wrong one. Too many comments firing in. This is the PO box address. If you want to send anything to me, I'm going to have space in the shelves, space on the wall for you to get involved in the channel. It's my way of making the channel that little bit more interactive and actually building a genuine community. Some channels try and say they are. Don't think they are. This one really is. So if you note down that, I'll leave that on the screen for a minute or two. If you want to send me something, send me whatever you want. Maybe not whatever you want, but within reason. Let's speak about the next thing, because of course tonight is Atalanta, and ultimately results are everything for Manchester United right now. I'll run through my predicted 11. Obviously, you watch my predicted 11 show, obviously. But who will start tonight? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said this about his job and whether he feels safe or not. We've progressed over the years. 6th in the season that he took over as interim manager, 3rd the year after, 2nd the year after that. You can see the progress. We have signed players which have raised expectations, but we are in the same boat as other teams. I personally don't believe that. I don't think we're in the same boat as other teams, if I'm completely honest. I think Manchester United are in their own situation. And that is what happens when you sign Cristiano Ronaldo. We shouldn't be looking at other teams. We shouldn't be looking elsewhere. I would say, we've definitely progressed. We have. I think Solskjaer is the only manager post-Fergie to get successive top 4 finishes in the Premier League. And that, fair play, is an absolute credit to him. But the expectations change when we sign Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho. And therefore, what we're seeing now simply is not good enough. And it's not the knee-jerk reaction to one game now. We're looking at 2 wins in our last 7 games. And both of those wins were 90th minute winners against Villarreal and against West Ham. That's why tonight has to be so important for Manchester United. Z1, you're saying take the whole Ajax structure, the CEO, director of football and the manager. Imagine it could work like that. No, Ajax won't tear themselves apart so Manchester United can have a good day. That won't happen. Oh yeah, Gungshi, welcome to the mod gang. I did that. I thought you deserved it. Lovely to have you on board. Make sure you join the mod WhatsApp group if you want to lose your mind, as long as you turn the notifications off. Otherwise, you will. And what are you saying? Do you think we've gassed ourselves up a bit too much? We finished 2nd last season, but the football wasn't astounding. Do we have a right to demand more now just because of our signings? Yeah, and I think we do. I think we do. I talk about self-entitlement and how that's created this short-term mindset that people seem to forget where we were a few years ago. And I stand by that. But at the same time, Manchester United put themselves under this sort of pressure. We signed these players, and therefore you have to expect the fans to accept that sort of short-term desire, because we as a club we've shown that short-term desire by signing Cristiano Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho. The club has changed our own expectations. If we hadn't signed Ronaldo, maybe it'd be a bit different. I personally think the Ronaldo signing is the thing that's changed everything. I think even with Varane and Sancho, I think people would have really sort of accepted and a little bit more anyway. They would have accepted that our deficiencies a little bit more in terms of the midfield. But because we signed Ronaldo, we've got one of the greatest of all time. And we've got him for a very finite period. He's 36, right? Ronaldo won't be here for more, in my opinion, at this level, more than 2 years. He said that he could go for 4 years. Yeah, he could go for 4 years. But I think towards the end, then Ronaldo's really going to be sort of dipping off. So because we've got Ronaldo now, the club's instilled a short-term mentality into the fans. And that's why things are more aggressive now. That's why things are a little bit more knee-jerk if you want them to be. Because everyone's aware of the opportunity that we have is going to be a very limited amount of time. And therefore, it makes the emotions more intense throughout it. That's my opinion anyway. But moving over to tonight, this is my predicted 11, right? This is who I think that Solskjaer will start tonight. I think he'll start Rashford. We go through it full screen so you can see. I think he'll start Rashford and Ronaldo, Greenwood up front with Fernandes. Don't know why I'm going backwards. Fred and McTominay, I think, will definitely be in midfield with a back four of Shaw, Lindelof, by Wan-Bissaka and David De Gea in goal. Do you agree with that team? Let me know in the comments below. Is there any changes you would make? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually been talking and saying that Maguire is good to go. But after Jesus, man, after what has happened against Leicester, surely Solskjaer is not going to do it again. Not tonight against Atalanta. That's my watch telling me to move. Really annoying that. I'm sitting here on a live stream, mate. What are you doing that for? Unbelievable. But I surely do not think that he can take that risk tonight with Harry Maguire. Surely. Paul, you think that Pogba will start? If we're looking at my actual... So this is my predicted 11 that I think Solskjaer will start. If we're looking at my preferred 11 that I actually want to start, it is... Oh, where is it? Hey, there you go. I would actually start McTominay behind Paul Pogba. Behind Paul Pogba in midfield. That would be my preferred 11. People are slating Paul Pogba for his performance against Leicester. Yeah, I'm going to slate everyone for their performance against Leicester. But I do not think that Pogba deserves to be dropped because of it, because otherwise you're going to drop the entire fucking team. Pogba's too good to drop, in my opinion. He does have a weakness in the press. It's not a massive part of his game, but he's one of the best in the world. So, I mean, there's a couple of comments flying in here that a few of you feel that Solskjaer might switch 2-5 at the back, sort of shore it up. What would that be? Would that be sort of Maguire with Lindelof and or Shaw maybe in as a left centre back alongside Maguire and Lindelof, with Telles and Wan-Bissaka as wing backs and Fred and McTominay in midfield? I mean, we could do that. But this has to be beared in mind as well. Atalanta are no joke. Atalanta have been a very good team for a good amount of years now. So, yeah, we can't take it lightly tonight. We really cannot. And honestly, we've had this discussion before. I'll speak about it later on. I'll mention it now. Look, if you're around an hour before kickoff, I'm opening the United Legacy Arms. It's my pre-match show where you can come on as members of United People's TV and have a conversation with me. If you'd like to join as a member, there's a link in the description. Also, there's a little join button next to subscribe down there. Click that, become a member. It's really cool. You get there's a members WhatsApp group. You get a badge next to your name, very sexy badge. You get your comments read out as a priority on YouTube and on Facebook too. There's lots to it, and as I said, it's your way of supporting the channel. But the United Legacy Arms will be open an hour before kickoff. Me talking about team news, sort of looking at tactics, everything. So I'd like you to join in there. Caputuaza, you're saying Fred is in tonight. I personally think that Fred will start tonight for sure. As I said, that's why he is in my predicted 11. Where is it again? Oh, there she is. I'd be very, very surprised if we didn't see Fred and McTominay tonight. With the pressure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under, he is going for his safety net. And his biggest safety net at Manchester United, as we know, is Fred and McTominay. Manchester United do play with we're a bit more solid with Fred and McTominay. We are. I know so many of us don't like it, but we are just a little bit more solid because of the deficiencies of Matic, the deficiencies of Pogba, and they just don't. I know football and central midfield is far more complicated and nuanced than simply running around. But when you don't actually run around, the other things don't work as well, because the work ethic is so crucial to every position in football. And people will slam Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he mentions it. But it's true. If you do not get the basics correct, because Rashford said it in his alongside Solskjaer in the press conference. He said, look, we need to get back to basics. And it might piss you off hearing that from Rashford. But after that Leicester performance, can you really say anything else apart from the fact that Manchester United need to get back to basics? You can't. We didn't do anything properly. Anything. It really was that bad of a game. So therefore, tonight, we do need to get back to the basics. Holding possession, making sure we press as a unit, making sure we squeeze the space out, making sure we don't just sit and retreat and go back towards our defense, go a little bit more aggressive, higher up the pitch, in your shape. As soon as you lose possession, get back into your position. When you do not do those things correctly, you have to address them in the next game. So I'm not surprised at hearing Manchester United have to go back to the basics, because what we saw against Leicester was just such an abomination. That's where we are. That is our level right now. Let's go down here. I'm going to head to the comments and see what you are saying. Basics are better manager at this moment, says Mo. Yeah, Solskjaer's under real pressure, man. Clement saying basics is Pogba and Sancho getting benched. No, I think that's down to form, really, in terms of Sancho. I would rather start Rashford, came on, scored. Greenwood, played Leicester, scored. Probably the only real dangerous attacker that we had for the majority of the game against Leicester was Mason Greenwood. Whether or not you think he's being too selfish at the moment, no, I would disagree. That's part of his game, and you want your attackers to be selfish. So I'm going to start Greenwood. I'm definitely going to start Rashford. I'm definitely going to start Fernandes, and I'm definitely going to start Ronaldo. I'm not Solskjaer, but that's what I would put in my team. And I would, as I say, expect Solskjaer to go for Freddie McTominay tonight. Victor, I don't hate you, mate. Come on. Although you're not a member anymore, so yeah, you are dead to me. I'm only joking, man. I'm only joking. Stefan saying it's so damn important that we score an early goal today. You let me know in the comments, what's your prediction for the game? Fire it in the comments. I'll read a few of your predictions out. I'm expecting tonight to be a really, really quite horrible game to watch as a United fan, because Atalanta do play with an aggressive, intensive press. They're a very, very mobile, very hard to play against team. And at Villarreal wasn't, by comparison, Villarreal was a walk in the park, and we struggled so much against that. We did switch it up that night. Solskjaer took a risk. We played with McTominay as a holding midfielder with Pogba and Bruno in front of him, and it did not work. And because of that, Solskjaer is a manager, like any manager in life, I suppose. You get scarred by your mistakes. Luckily, he didn't get scarred that much by the mistakes, because Cristiano Ronaldo popped up with the late winner. But there's no way he's going to be playing one holding midfielder tonight. That's for sure. Let me go up here. See what you think about this in the comments. We've got Ben, you think it's going to be 1-1. Top Dog 2-1. Daniel going 1-0. Manuel, you're going 2-2. Stefan 2-1. 2-0, sorry. 2-1 says Tala. Koop Miners going to smoke up Fred. So many of you wanted Koop Miners. I believe he played for, was it Utrecht? Nah. He played out in Eredivisie. And he got snapped. Was it Eredivisie? Was it Bruges? Sod knows. He played somewhere in Europe, and he joined Atalanta. 3-1 win. 3-1 win to Atalanta. There we go. Unfortunately, he says, Paul, I think we're going to lose to Atalanta. They're very good, and we are in a bad period. We are in a bad period. And as I said, as I've always maintained it. And that's why the Leicester game was different for me. And that's why the reaction to it was different from me. We've always had a response from our players when Solskjaer is under pressure. And Leicester, we did not. In fact, it got worse. So tonight, I can't go into that game tonight with any sort of real massive hope or expectation that things are going to switch. I wouldn't be surprised if they did switch. I'm not going to rule it out. Absolutely not going to rule it out. But it's going to be tough for United tonight. It really is. With the pressures that we're under, and with the way that Atalanta play, they won't give us a second on the ball. It's not as if we're going to be playing like Club Brugge again. Well, Club Brugge up until the point where, we went down to 10 men. That changed that game. Atalanta will not give us any breathing space. It's going to be tough. Koop Miners played for Alkmaar. I was close enough. Abby saying, the time for VDB has been coming for a long time. Only thing stopping Ole, I guess, is defensive capabilities. Not sure what Van der Beek has to do to get in his damn team. 2-1 to Atalanta. Abby, is quite simple now with Donny Van der Beek. If he wasn't going to come into the team when we were in a good period, where we were winning games, where there was a good feeling around the club, there's absolutely no way that Van der Beek comes into this Manchester United team where results are so crucial now. Every single game is a cup final for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. Van der Beek won't be coming into it. Linville Bell, with a question that I'm going to pose to everybody in the comments. You can type yes or no to this one. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the sack if Manchester United don't make it out of this group? Linville, I'll be honest, I think that is a real possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. I do not for the life of me know what is happening in this Manchester United team or squad within the next few weeks. Because while we're all hearing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has 100% support of the club, me personally, I don't particularly believe that. I think I don't doubt that Solskjaer has a majority of support. As I said yesterday, James Ducker, Jason Burt, Andy Mitten, Fabrizio Romano, who else? Everybody, all the main journalists, all their links to the club, all their sources to the club, all reporting the same thing. Solskjaer has 100% support. Gary Neville saying the same thing. Rio Ferdinand saying the same thing. Clearly, that is the message coming out of Manchester United. But in my opinion, if the results go the wrong way for Manchester United in the build-up to that international break after City and before that, so we've got Atalanta now today. We've got Liverpool on Sunday. Then we've got Spurs the following Saturday, I believe. Then we've got Atalanta away. And then we've got City. That's 5 games before the next international break. We get the wrong ones in there, I'd be very surprised if the situation would feel different to me, for sure. But let me go down here and see what you think. Matt, you think that you agree. You agree, Carl. And you're saying no. Ike, you're saying yes for sure. Meat, you think so as well. Craig, you don't think so. Aaron, you don't think so. Paul Meller, 50-50. I'll be honest, I can't help but sit on the fence there. I've got the fence post rammed up my ass again because of a comment there that fired in that I completely agree with. And we all, if we're being honest, we all know this is the case. I've done my video previously on the Glazers. I've done it on their strategy of what they want at Manchester United. I've explained what it is. You know what it is. It's the fact that the top 4 is the only thing that matters to the Glazers. So in that sense, these 5 games can change that too. If we look at the Premier League table right now, for example, let's have a look. As bad as it is, it's still not past the point of being salvaged by any stretch of the imagination. We are 5 points off top. Let's have a look. Let's go here. Currently 5 points off top, as you can see here. Here is the table. But we've now, in our next 3 Premier League games, we've got Liverpool, we've got Spurs, and we've got City. So we play 2nd, 5th, and 3rd in our next 3 games. If results go right for Manchester United, things could massively change in that Premier League. If things go wrong, wah. Andrew, VDB will likely outlast Ole. Hopefully the next manager uses him, and hopefully that person is Ten Hag. Ole will get sacked if we go to the Europa League. So in that sense, we're looking at, what is it, December, when the Champions League group finishes? Andy, have you ever thought about streaming on Twitch? I have thought about it, Andy, but I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. If anyone's a technical wizard and wants to help me, maybe I'll do that. I've got my Xbox there, actually. Should I buy FIFA? Should I play some FIFA? I do love FIFA. I prefer PES back in the day. Call me old school. Although apparently FIFA and EA are going to end their partnership. 30 years FIFA have had the exclusive rights. I think that's going to change. That would be cool. Let me go up here. Punos, you're saying Ole has got to stop his nice guy act. I've always said that. I think that nice guy approach is damaging Solskjaer's ability to be the ruthless manager he needs to be, certainly with the coaching staff. To see Solskjaer yesterday saying that his coaching staff is amazing and that there's nothing wrong with it, you're like, really? You can't possibly say that a team that loses 4-2 to Leicester and concedes 30 seconds after scoring an equaliser is being coached properly. Sorry, you can't. You absolutely can't. Big, you're saying FIFA, please. All right, well, I'll consider it as a possibility. Maybe I'll stream all day. I haven't got anything else to do. apart from, live a life. And saying, peeps, we're all passionate. Can we try to keep the comments polite and constructive? Well, mate, it's been a topsy-turvy week, hasn't it? I still enjoy doing these live streams. I still enjoy your comments. So please keep firing your comments, keep firing your super chats. We'll go for another, what is it? We'll go for another 10, 15 minutes. You fire in your questions and your concerns you have about me. I'll pull up some more talking points because I tell you what, we've already talked through all the talking points I had, but I'm sure there's some more. But yeah, going back to anybody who's joining in, welcome aboard to United People's TV. Lovely to have you on board. The reason I did this video was to speak about how impressive Ajax were against Dortmund yesterday, and why, for me, that highlighted the key issues and the problems that Manchester United fans have with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ten Hag has lost so many of his players in the last 3 years. But what has changed in terms of the style of Ajax? Nothing has changed. The philosophy and the style is kept through, and it's kept true. And that's what's impressed me the most about Ten Hag. And that is at the core of why so many fans are losing faith in Solskjaer. Because we're looking at a team like that has lost the likes of De Ligt, Frankie de Jong, Van der Beek, Ziyech, but still can look that impressive only a couple of years later. It goes to show that everything at that club is being run absolutely properly. Gungshi, how you doing, Mod? Mod Gungshi, a new one. Thank you for your super chat, buddy. Lovely to see you. Gungshi saying we need to get a good result tonight. We can't let the morale drop any further, and it's essential that we get through to the group stage, or it will get even more toxic. I'm going with an optimistic 2-1 to United, but I'm not 100% confident. Thanks for the blue spanner. You deserve it, buddy. Lovely to have you as part of it. Get yourself in the mod group. I'd love to chat to you some more. And look, man, you're not wrong. We need to get a result tonight. And I'll tell you, and I said this before early this week, with Manchester United now, it's not just about results. We've reached the point now where the performance is equally as important to the result. And maybe deep down, maybe that's always been the case with Manchester United. Maybe that really has always been the case. And maybe that's always been part of the jar of anything that's happened post-Fergie. Performances have never been as important to Manchester. Certainly under Mourinho, he was a results-driven manager. Van Gaal was a results-driven manager. And both of the performances under both of them are largely but like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Solskjaer, I would say, for sure he has. I mean, we've scored like 4 or 5 goals in more occasions under Solskjaer than I think we did under Van Gaal and Mourinho combined. There's been far more of those good performances under Solskjaer than there has been under both of those managers, even if we didn't win the trophies. But as I said, I've always maintained that the progression of the whole club, Europa League, FA Cup, League Cup, doesn't change anything. But we do need a good result tonight, Gungshi. You're not wrong there. Man United needs to turn things around. Andrew, you're saying, I'm going into tonight and Sunday quite scared. I can't help it. I can't help it because Manchester United have got me scared, I suppose. I've got it. I wasn't scared going into that Leicester game. I went into that Leicester game like properly full of beans, as Lingard would say. Full of optimism about, don't worry about it. The international break is done. We've had 2 weeks to sort of recover, recuperate. We're going to go in there, play Pogba and Matic in midfield, start Sancho, Rashford coming off the bench for his first game. I was like, yeah, cool. Leicester, they're struggling. Cool. I felt very, very confident going into that Leicester game, and look how that served me. Egg. New hairstyle. Well, they cut my sides a bit too short, but still looking fresh. Egg on my face after that Leicester game. So you're damn right, I'm going into this game with trepidation, with a bit of fear at the back of my mind saying, what? And unfortunately, that's the Old Trafford atmosphere tonight. The Old Trafford atmosphere is full of worry and full of fear. Compare that to how it was against Newcastle going in. It was one of the best Old Trafford atmospheres you're going to see in a long time. But tonight, there's going to be a sense of foreboding going into that match because of that game against Leicester. An early goal from Atalanta, and you're going to hear the murmurs are going to start in Old Trafford. It's going to be that sort of atmosphere. So that's why I completely agree with the comment earlier saying that Manchester United need to get an early goal tonight. We need to make sure that Old Trafford crowd, instead, if we score first, the tension in that atmosphere will be relieved slightly. The players will feel it. They will feel it, because I guarantee you that Old Trafford atmosphere will be like a closing in atmosphere tonight. If we play too slow, if we play too sloppy, and it will start squeezing in. And that's why I'm going into that game tonight without severe. I can see people talking about Atalanta's injury problems. I believe their captain is going to be missing. But like Ajax, I don't believe Atalanta is a team that relies on an individual to set the tempo. Atalanta is a team that has proven itself over the last few years of playing some really aggressive, pressing, exciting, attacking football. And that's a team thing. That's not an individual thing. A bit like Ajax, you take Klaassen out of the team, then they're still fine. They're still fine in midfield. The whole team sets a tempo rather than an individual, which at Manchester United is not the case and has not been the case. And again, it's man. Watching Ten Hag and Ajax last night, I was basically the Pablo Escobar meme. Just sat there blindly staring on my bench swing, wondering when Manchester United are going to play like that again. Simple as that. What I'm going to do here is head down to the comments now. As always, stop arguing. Second of all, let's go down to the comments and see what you're saying. Anyone know what time Old Trafford opens tonight? It's normally like, 3 hours before kickoff? About that. Mooney, you're saying a well-coached team of hard-working players will always beat a lazy bunch of individuals. And that's what I'm saying about getting back to basics, and that's what Manchester United have to do tonight. We should not be getting back to basics with a team that's got Sancho, Pogba, Ronaldo, Rashford, Bruno. We should be way skipping away from basics. But it's the issue that we have at the club right now means we have to get back to basics. We simply have to. And that's the problem that Manchester United have at the moment. Stefan, you're off. See you later, buddy. We all love Ole, says Mo, but we are not going nowhere with his way of playing and team setup. Mo, I'm still refusing to believe that. I'm not refusing to believe there are problems with Solskjaer. There's massive problems, but I'm not ruling out the possibility that things can get turned around. Surely part of you just remains as an optimist. Surely there's quite a few in the comments. You're not just going to be going in and saying, fuck it, I want United to lose just to get rid of Solskjaer. Anybody who does that, please vacate this stream and do not come in and close the door behind you. And what you're saying, I feel Ole's position has become even more tenuous because everyone else has stepped up this season. There are no easy games anymore. This league is the most deadly in the world right now. Certainly the Premier League, and I've said this before, the Premier League is the most competitive it has been for so long. Back in the day of United, I always remember when United were at the top of the league, it was us and someone else. Whether that was us and Newcastle back in like 95, 96, whether that was us and Arsenal for a few years, quite a few years, back up until through about 2002, roughly. Whether that was us and Chelsea. Whether that was, us and Chelsea until we dominated at the top of the league for 3 years. And then City came in. And then as soon as City came in, it started to change. It went from like United, City and Chelsea. And then it was sort of, and now Liverpool have come back into it. And now Newcastle are going to come into it. Spurs tried and then fell out. And then Spurs are just being Spurs again now. And Arsenal were just mid-table, aren't they? They're basically the new Stoke. The Premier League is so hyper-competitive that Ant is right. There are no easy games anymore. Back in the day, there was bankers, proper bankers. You got 3 points. No questions asked. But anybody who comes to Old Trafford now, well, they can ask Aston Villa. Gungshi saying, I will never want us to lose no matter how frustrated. I honestly, for the life of me, I do not understand. No, I do understand. You are just not a Manchester United fan, pure and simple. Don't come at me and try and justify the fact that, man, I just want us to lose for a couple of games because in the short term, it will benefit United in the long term. Get fucked. Leave the door. Close the door behind you. You never want your team to lose. You never want United to lose, no matter what the context is. Don't try and justify the unjustifiable. That is what I would say about anybody who tries to argue that United losing would be a good thing for United. Nah, it wouldn't. Imagine how Spurs or Arsenal fans feel. Nah, I'd rather not. We're going to win today, says Millicent. Well, you're feeling confident. I hope you're right. Anybody who's new, would you please hit that subscribe button, get involved in United People's TV, and join me later in the United Legacy Arms. I'll be open at probably about 6:50 UK time. It's about an hour and a bit just before kickoff. Anybody else got any questions now? Fire them in for the next 5 minutes. It's the community section. I might do this as well at some point. I might, at the last few minutes of the show, invite you all on and say that you can join me on the stream, but I haven't done that yet. And as Takeoff says, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Mo's saying, basic Sam, use your best player, fit player, take the most from your players. It's not always about using your most player, is it? It's always about, it's the team. The team is a collective set of, it's a collective total of the individuals. It's not just always about the best players in the best positions. And that's something that Solskjaer definitely struggles with. We're a massively top-heavy team. And when you've got so many quality players that we've got, it's hard to fit them all in without being top-heavy because we don't have that midfield general to back them up. Fareed watching from Trinidad. Good morning, good afternoon to you. Let's go. There's no guarantees, and it says Logan on Facebook. Pull this comment up. Nice to see you, Logan. Make sure you drop a like on the video, sir. There's no guarantees that a new coach will come in and make an immediate impact. But can Ole improve from here? I'm hoping that luck followed him as a player and come back to him as a coach. You can expect Manchester United to have an upturn post-Solskjaer in the same way that after Mourinho, we had a massive surge for 3 months under Solskjaer. That always happens. It's not guaranteed, but it happens quite a lot of the time. Liam Hardy saying, what do I think of Ransom Bants? Nah. Kevin, what are you saying? Sam, sometimes defeat is a good thing to open the eyes, and you were a fool for thinking we want that because we don't love the team. Nah. Absolute not. Kevin, you're trying to justify the unjustifiable here, my friend. You want Manchester United to lose. You are not a Manchester United fan. End of story. Could it be that Ronaldo hampers the team more than he helps? Big up from Trinidad. I did a little short video on that on Facebook yesterday. Make sure you check that out. I don't think so, in my own opinion. You know what you're getting when you sign Ronaldo. Ronaldo doesn't press. It's not as if he's come to United as a pressing monster and all of a sudden isn't pressing. Ronaldo has never pressed. Therefore, you know that you need to build a team around that. Simple. And if you're not, then you're mismanaging. Then you're setting your team up incorrectly, and that's your own fault. I don't think that's down to Ronaldo in any way, shape, or form, man. The guy's a monster of a goal scorer. That's what he does. He doesn't press. He's not going to run 30 yards to shut down a goalkeeper when he wants to save that 30-yard burst for when he's in and around the box. Simple as that. Does Ole know his best team at the moment, says Darren? No, I don't honestly think that Solskjaer's ever known his best team. I think he's always chopped. He's changed. You remember throughout the summer, we were sold the idea that Manchester United was switching to a 4-3-3. I was like, get in. But we didn't. And I still think that the 4-3-3 is the only way you truly get the most out of this squad. But I don't think we can do it as well. Amir, Sam, you are not a United fan as well because you keep sugarcoating Ole's brainless coaching style. Is that why I'm sitting here talking about how Ten Hag and comparing him to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yeah, I am indeed sugarcoating everything, sir. Very good point. Andrew, always want a United win, but there is a silver lining if we don't at the moment. Man, it's just, I can't fucking disagree with any of these people anymore. I'll tell you what, I'm going to wrap it up. Otherwise, I'm just going to start getting annoyed. But look, thank you all very much for joining in this morning. I hope you enjoyed the chat we had about Ten Hag. Look, I'm going to be doing more content around different managers, debating them, everything. You can't ignore it at the moment. As I said, Solskjaer spoke about the elephant in the room with Rashford. I'm addressing the elephant in the room with Solskjaer. I'm not going to ignore it. I never had ignored it. I never have. People might say I sugarcoat it, but no, it's just, that's called supporting the manager instead of chasing him with the goddamn pitchfork, which is what so many of you do. But look, please drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new to me on United People's TV. I'll be here tomorrow at 9:30. I'll be here tonight at 6:50. I'll be here after the game with my match reaction. Oh man, there's going to be so much content. So please, if you would, it might not be the right result. Fingers crossed it is. Although maybe some of you want United to lose, right? Because it would sit, get fucked. Look, Drop a like on the video and subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. And Ryan Willis, I will not sugarcoat you. Or maybe I will. No, I won't. But anyway, thank you all very much for joining in this morning. I hope you enjoyed the chat and the debate. Take it easy.